Bill, thank you so much for doing this. First, I wanted to ask you, how do you build a terminal like T5 for under $1 billion these days?
I think it's the most amazing bargain, and I'll tell you what, I wish I could take credit for it, but it all goes back to the architects, the planners, and the people who worked on it. The idea that we got a 26-gate domestic terminal at Kennedy Airport with a tremendous check-in facility, great security, wonderful food, beverage, and retail, it actually kind of befuddles me that we were able to do it for the price that we got it, but the result, I think, really proves we got a tremendous terminal for that price.
And talk to me a little bit about the challenges of incorporating the Saarinen terminal in the whole planning process.
Well, from the outset, we all wanted to respect the legacy, the history, and the architecture of the Saarinen terminal, and so that was a prime consideration in the design. The fact was that Saarinen created an absolutely beautiful terminal. It does have that kinetic feel. It feels like a bird in flight, and everyone really loves it. And we've always said that if you think like an architect, you'd really love that terminal, and so we had to preserve it. But if you think like a passenger, it wasn't a good facility. So the idea was, how do you design a building that is very sympathetic to that design, which means it had to be very low profile. The materials used, the window wall and the facility, it all had to be very, very sensitive to the Saarinen design. And then integrate the Saarinen terminal with the new terminal. I mean, the connectors right now that used to go to the gate areas of the Saarinen terminal actually connect right now into the new JetBlue terminal. So the whole program was very much integrated to make Saarinen a centerpiece of the new facility, allow passengers without bags to check in by way of an electronic kiosk, to make that a very active part of the airport community, but then at the same time respect the fact that we needed a 26-gate domestic terminal and we needed to move an awful lot of people that JetBlue carries at that airport. But I think they came together well, but it was really because of a partnership. There were a lot of people involved in that partnership, whether it was the city landmarks people, the state historic preservation people, the municipal arts society. So many people, JetBlue, the Port Authority, the FAA, and we worked together, and I think we accomplished a really nice result.
Now, when people go in, what's your take on what they're going to see? What are some of the features that you like about the terminal?
Well, it's pretty amazing. When you look at this terminal, it is very bright, it's very airy, it's very spacious. It really was designed with customer accessibility, service, and convenience in mind. And depending on how you arrive, but let's take a typical passenger who might come by way of parking. They're going to enter into a brand new parking garage with wide parking stalls, with bi-directional corridors. It doesn't have sloped floors and ceilings. It's really very nicely designed. It's designed for passengers with bag. It's got elevators that can accommodate people in their baggage, and they've been timed so that there's good service, that you don't have to wait for an elevator. There's a direct connector with moving walkways that goes right into the terminal, and as you go through the moving walkway, which is suspended about 40 feet into the air, and as you look to your right coming from the garage, you begin to sense that anticipation that the terminal is out there. It's almost kind of like the Wizard of Oz feeling of first seeing, you know, the wizard's castle out in the distance, where you're seeing it and you're developing that anticipation. And then suddenly you leave this beautiful connector that's all climate controlled, and you enter into this great ticketing space that's very curvilinear. It's got this really interesting ceiling. On the one hand, it's exposed. You can see utilities. On the other hand, it has these sort of sail fin ceilings. You see all the ticket counters. You see all the electronic kiosk check-in. And the thing that strikes you the most is there's this huge security check-in spot with 20 different points where people can be screened so that there's no wait. So that's the first thing you see. And then you go through security, and you see this fabulous concession space. Some people have called it a mall. Some people consider that good. Some people consider that bad because it's all shopping. But you've got the best in food service. There's quality, there's service, there's price, there's value, there's variety. And you have these fabulous gate concourses. And everything is just so well designed. And the sizing of different kinds of things, it's all made to allow passengers to flow very conveniently, very easily. And ultimately, it's there to do, the primary function of it is to get people out of land vehicles into air vehicles by way of this terminal building. And so the whole thing was designed with efficiency in mind, to get you from the curbside all the way out to the gate and get you there with a lot of speed and a lot of convenience.
And then my last question, Bill, just the first day, the feeling there, how the opening went.
Well, the first day was amazing. I think the first flight came in at 5:50 in the morning, and as usual, it depends upon how you look at it. The opening went fabulously. From a customer's point of view, it was totally seamless. We didn't have any problems. You know, everybody's always a little bit anxious. We all remember Denver and the baggage problems. We all remember Terminal 5 and the baggage problems. So this is a very high-tech system, and everybody waits with great anxiety. If you worked on it to make sure everything worked, everything actually worked, And once the day was over, we all took a sigh of relief and said, wow, it came together. You know, there's always little punch list items that you discover. It's like a new car, you get it, and suddenly you realize, well, maybe that knob needs to be replaced on the radio. Well, those little things, maybe there were some there, but from a customer's point of view, I think it was totally seamless. All of the customer reviews were rave reviews, and I think one of the best critics you can have are the employees, and from what I heard, all the people who work for JetBlue or in the terminal were actually awed by their new work experience, by the transition to go from Terminal 6 over to Terminal 5. Everything I saw is the terminal opened without a glitch, and there were a lot of very, very happy customers. And I think it's the terminal, but it's also JetBlue. I mean, I always have to say that JetBlue's got a total commitment to the passenger, and I think that was a big piece of it too, the fact that their crew members really are devoted to the people, and they worked hard to make this work well.
Okay, thank you very much.